How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Art of Everything. I'm Frank and we're back at it again with another video. It's been a while that I have done a reaction video, and I'm not gonna lie, that's how this channel kind of started, but it wasn't the main reason for the channel. It was just one of those things that I was able to do immediately. So we're back at it again with another reaction video. I would dare to say it's not like paranormal or anything like that. The title is Top 20 Creepiest Mysteries of the Century so far. And this is by Watch Mojo. So I'm definitely going to have the link down in the description down below. One thing about me is I love mysteries. I love true crime. I love those things. As a matter of fact, if anything, I personally believe that mysteries are more scarier, more creepier than the paranormal. And the reason being is because these are real things that have occurred that there is no answer for at the moment. So to me personally, that makes it creepier. Now this video is, how long is it? It is roughly about 15 minutes. So we're gonna be here for a little while, and hopefully this video is enough for you guys to enjoy. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Let me put these headphones on. All right, so let's go ahead and get right into it.
Some questions may never be answered. Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 creepiest mysteries of the century so far. For this list, we're looking at the most unsettling unsolved mysteries and unexplained events from around the world. Be warned, many of these cold cases are not for the faint of heart. Number 20, Siberian sinkholes. In July 2014, helicopters flying over the Yamal Peninsula in Siberia discovered a vast crater in the wilderness, thought to be a recently formed sinkhole. Later the same month, reindeer herders found more of these enormous sinkholes, one also in the Yamal Peninsula and another to the east. A huge sinkhole on the other side of the country, in the Chersky Range, has been dubbed the doorway to the underworld thanks to booms heard inside. It's thought that the sinkholes form when permafrost melts due to rapid global warming. Some theories link this process to explosions of underground natural gas reserves. Whatever the cause of the strange sinkholes is, it's definitely not good.
If such craters will take place in the industrial region, it could be quite serious disasters.
Number 19, octopuses on land. One dark night in October 2017, a tour group in Ceredigion, Wales came across an unusual sight. Dozens of curled octopuses crawling along Newquay Beach. Octopuses can survive out of the water for about a half an hour, but it's extremely unusual for dozens to flee the sea at the same time. By the following morning, many had died on the shores, failing to return to the ocean at all. This behavior continued for several nights. Explanations have varied, ranging from them getting shaken up by recent storms in the area or confused by the bright lights of the harbor. Number 18.
That is really weird. Honestly, there's a lot of mysteries when it comes to the deep sea. So is it possible that they were running away or scared of something? I like the fact that they said it can be partially due to, you know, all the storms and stuff like that. But I don't know. It's kind of creepy. You know, you got the Loch Ness Monster and all that stuff. And, you know, the Megalodon and stuff. You know, there's rumors that go around that says, you know, that say that those things are still alive and they're still out there. So it makes you wonder, like, why are they coming out and basically roaming land and then dying? Like, they're legit dying. Are they scared of something? I don't know. That's just my thought. All right.
What did Brandon Swanson see? In the early hours of May 14, 2008, Brandon Swanson, a college student from Minnesota, drove his car into a ditch on his way home from a party. The car wouldn't start, so he did what anyone would do and called his parents, who drove out to get him. Brandon stayed on the phone for over 45 minutes, but his parents were unable to find him.
Oh, I've heard of this.
Brandon swore and the call cut off.
The minute that he that call dropped, I just became sick. I knew it was wrong. I knew it was very, very bad.
The following day, his car was found, located 25 miles further away from where he thought he was. The most common theory is that Brandon fell into a nearby river and drowned, but his body has never been found. Number 17, head in...
I've heard a little bit about that case, and like I said, I'm into true crime as well. So I've heard a lot of cases, and that's one case that I think I watched a video about that case particularly a little while back, and it's very, very creepy and very mysterious. And, you know, I don't think that he would just, as a person, you're stuck, you're trying to call somebody for help. I don't think as a person you're just gonna get up out. And then he swore, the last thing he did was swear, cursed, you know, before the call was dropped. So clearly there was something or somebody. But I think the biggest mystery is that his body wasn't found. So it makes you almost wonder, like, did somebody abduct him? Did somebody take him? And I think that is creepy, especially as a parent. You're talking to your son, and all of a sudden it's, you know, the last thing you hear from your son is just, I don't know. I think that's really creepy. And just the thought of it, like, I don't know. It's, you tell me what you think about that case, particularly, specifically, because, you know, I'm pretty sure a lot of you probably heard about that case. If you haven't, I would definitely check it out. There's a lot of weird stuff that happened in that case. So, yeah.
Pennsylvania. While walking home in 2014, a teenage boy in Economy, Pennsylvania stumbled across a grisly artifact in the woods, a woman's head. Bizarrely, the head was embalmed, meaning someone had gone to great lengths to look after it, so why they would dump it in the woods is anyone's guess. Though sketches and a 3D model have been released to the public, nobody's been able to identify the head, and the body it belongs to has also never been found. No hospital or morgue had a headless cadaver that matched. Strangest of all was the fact that the eyes were replaced with bouncy balls, which could suggest it was involved in the black market organ trade. Number 16.
I'm from PA, but I'm from the city. I'm from Philadelphia. The thing about Pennsylvania is really, really known more for the big cities like Pittsburgh, Harrisburg, and Philadelphia, like the big cities. But let me tell you something about Pennsylvania. It's very, very country, and there's a lot of woods, a lot of hills, a lot of mountains and stuff like that in Pennsylvania. And I can just picture just walking in the woods, like taking a path to get to where you want to get to, and all of a sudden you see a head. And the thing is that they couldn't even find out who the head belonged to. Like, that's just creepy. Like, and the thing is that, you know, things like this reminds me of, like, The Boy in the Box, which is still an unsolved mystery till this day. And I'm so intrigued by that case that this is almost like it hits home because it was in Pennsylvania. So I guess that's what it is. But that's just creepy. Just walking up, just walking, and then just seeing, like, I don't even know how I would react. I'll be running. I'll tell you that. I'll be running.
The Saddle Ridge Hoard. In 2013, a California couple hit it rich when they unearthed mysterious metal cans on their property. The cans contained over $27,000 in 19th century gold coins, valued today at over $10 million. It was originally theorized that the coins were from a heist of $30,000 from the San Francisco
in
1901. However, government officials were not able to tie the coins to the 1901 robbery and never claimed them.
This coin is the 1866 S No Motto 20. And it's by far the finest known of this very, very rare coin.
This means that the origin of this vast fortune remains unknown. Some think it was one man's personal fortune, while others believe it's hidden loot from Wild West outlaws. Number 15, Elisa Lam. On January 30th,
before we go into Elisa Lam, I don't know about you guys. I don't know if you guys are into unsolved cases or cases like this. If you guys are and would like to see me make a video about these cases and things like that, let me know down in the comments below, because I did do a podcast. I had started a podcast about true crime a while back, but I ended up starting with The Boy in the Box. That was the first episode, but it was supposed to be a 2-part episode, and I never finished it. I never got to really dig into it the way I wanted to. But if you guys are interested in something like that, let me know down in the comments below, and I would work something out like that, because Elisa Lam, The Boy in the Box, those are cases that I'm really, really interested in. So just tell me what you guys think about me doing something like that.
First, Canadian tourist Elisa Lam, who'd been staying at the Cecil Hotel in LA,
This
failed
is
to check in
crazy.
with her parents. Nearly 3 weeks later, her body was found in the water tank on the roof. An autopsy showed that she drowned. It was never discovered how she managed to get to the roof and into the water tank, then close the door behind her. But strangest of all was highly disturbing security footage that was released before her body was found. The footage has no sound, but shows Elisa visibly distressed. Though she was bipolar, many argue that this does not explain her extreme behavior, and point out that the hotel has a sordid history of suicides, murders, and serial killers. Number 14.
I don't want to go too much into that particular video or of Elisa Lam, but let's just put it this way. There is no way she's going to put herself into that tank of water by herself. And I know people with bipolar disorder, how she acted there didn't look like bipolar disorder. If anything, if the closest thing that would look like would be schizophrenia. But she was never diagnosed with schizophrenia or anything like that. I don't know. I think that, personally, I think there was more to it than anything. I don't think nobody was trying to harm her. I think it had to do with things that we cannot see. Me personally, at least. You know what I'm saying? So that's just my thought on it.
Whose heart was this? Paramedics in Norwalk, Ohio were parked outside a convenience store on August 25, 2016, waiting for calls. Instead, they found a human heart. The heart was in a sealed Ziploc bag in a field near the parking lot. It was determined that the heart was human and had been freshly removed, dropped in the field very close to the time the EMTs discovered it. It's thought that the heart was an organ being sold on the black market, but the owner or potential recipient, not to mention whoever left it there, have never been found. Number 13, Havana Syndrome. In 2016, American and Canadian embassy staff in Cuba began to report unusual health problems after hearing a loud noise, described by some to sound like marbles rolling across a floor.
It went on for about 20 or 30 seconds, and then as it was dying, it went woo, 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 woo. And when it hit the low note, I thought I was gonna throw up.
The sufferers became dizzy and nauseous, reporting headaches and, quote, pressure. Injuries eventually determined to be, quote, concussions without the concussion. The U.S. authorities blamed the Cuban government for carrying out the alleged, quote, attacks, which Cuba denied. In 2018, U.S. diplomats in China made similar reports. Theories have ranged from cricket noises and psychogenic illness to pesticides and microwave weapons, but so far, there's no conclusive answer.
We heard a very high-pitched sound in Catherine's bedroom, and we heard a very low pulsing sound in the living room.
Number 12, Arkansas
weird.
bird deaths. On New Year's Day 2011, the small town of Beebe, Arkansas was shaken by the ominous mass deaths of up to 5,000 blackbirds.
You could not even get down the road without running over hundreds. It was that bad.
It was thought that the birds died after flying into buildings and obstacles when they were startled by fireworks, so the following year, fireworks were banned in Beebe. Except even with these restrictions, an additional 200 birds died after flying into buildings on the same night. Some believe that the 2012 deaths were the result of someone setting off fireworks in a roost of birds maliciously. But if this is the case, the culprit was never caught. Number 11. Who was the Atlantic City serial killer? Also known as the...
Some things are just, they stay unexplained. It's Mother Nature, it's God, it's, I don't know, for whatever reasons. But I remember about the birds. I went back to school, and I remember hearing about those, that happening, I think in history class, in American history. But, you know, I think certain things tend to stay unanswered because, like, we don't know. It could have been due to pollution. It could have been due to a whole bunch of things. But at the end of the day, it's going to stay a mystery because we most likely will never find out the real cause of that happening. Some things are just meant to stay that way.
Eastbound Strangler, this killer murdered 4 women, all identified as sex workers in October and November 2006. The bodies were left lined up in a row facing eastward in a ditch behind a motel, fully clothed except for their shoes and socks, all strangled to death. A few suspects have been questioned by police with no charges or convictions. At one point, police investigated a possible connection to the Long Island serial killer, but to no avail. Though the theory that the killers are the same person remains popular. Number 10. The void in the Pyramid of Khufu.
You know what's funny, and I'm just going to sit here and throw this out there real quick because of that. At one point, we had, in Philadelphia, we had someone called the Kensington Strangler. And the Kensington Strangler, he did exactly what this person was doing in Jersey. Honestly, when you talk about the tri-state area, can it possibly be one person? Yes. And the crazy thing about it is I looked into the Kensington Strangler a little bit, and the Kensington Strangler lived outside of Philadelphia for a little while. I think he lived in Georgia or something like that. I don't remember exactly. It's been years that I read into it. Is it possible? This was back in 2012. So 2006 to 2012, you're looking at 6 years. He was 28 years old when he was caught, if I'm not mistaken. So that means 21 years old. He would have been around that time. Is it possible that it could have been the same person? I'm just saying, I'm just throwing that out there. You know, something to think about.
The pyramids of Giza were built over 4,000 years ago, but are still making us ask all sorts of questions. The Scan Pyramids project was launched in 2015 to hopefully answer some of these, aiming to investigate the pyramid's internal structures using imaging techniques that won't damage the monuments. But 2 years on, an enormous void said to be the size of an airplane was found within the largest pyramid of Khufu. Theories about the void range from it being a way for the pyramid builders to keep the tunnels from collapsing, to it containing an undiscovered archaeological gold mine. At the moment, we have no way to go into the void and find out the truth. Number 9. The disappearance of Madeleine McCann. On May 3rd, 2007, 4-year-old Madeleine McCann disappeared from her bedroom during a family vacation in Portugal, never to be seen again. It became one of the most heavily publicized events in British media, gaining international attention as the search for Maddie intensified. The most common theory is that somebody abducted her from the holiday apartment while her parents were at a nearby restaurant. However, British tabloids and Twitter users targeted her parents. Express newspapers was later forced to pay damages and apologize. And ultimately, no one has ever been charged, and a body has never been found. Number 8. Henry.
Just to let you guys know, if you want to know a little bit more about that case, they actually have it up on Netflix. It's a very crazy case. I don't believe her parents did it, and there's reasons behind it. I'm not going to get into it. This video is already a little bit too long. But if you want to check out more about that case, definitely check it out on Netflix, man. Like, it's very intriguing. If you're definitely into that type of stuff, check it out. Like, honestly, check it out.
McCabe's last voicemail. Before his death in September 2015, Henry McCabe spent Labor Day weekend drinking with a friend, William Kennedy. But McCabe never came home. Instead, police found his body in Rush Lake, Minnesota 2 months later. Before he died, however, he left a disturbing voice message on his wife's phone in which he said he'd been shot. A second voice and unusual growling can also be heard. Yet McCabe's body didn't have a gunshot wound. It was officially ruled that he drowned. To date, nobody knows whether his death was accidental or if he was murdered.
That's
Number
creepy.
7. Stockholm submarines. In 2011, 2014, and again in 2018, mysterious submarines were sighted in the Stockholm archipelago by the Swedish military. This happened several times during the Cold War, with Russian submarines wandering into Swedish waters. But while the more recent submarine sightings have also been blamed on Russia, nobody is sure what they were doing there.
It could be divers using some form of moped-like underwater vehicle, and it could be divers that don't have any business on our territory.
In 2014, a search was launched, and a photograph of the alleged submarine distributed to the public. But the sub itself was never identified or claimed. Stranger still, however, it's also been speculated that the sub sighted belonged to NATO.
Looking very much like a submarine on patrol.
Does it look like a submarine on patrol? Because that could equally be a whale with a toupee.
Number 6. The Salish Sea Feet. Since 2007, 21 human feet have been found on beaches in the Pacific Northwest and west coast of Canada, washed up from the Salish Sea. It's actually not unheard of for a body part to end up on a beach like this, and the feet become disembodied due to ordinary decomposition. But so many detached feet washing up on the same stretch of coast is a statistical anomaly to say the least. While some of the feet have been identified as belonging to people who committed suicide by jumping from bridges, many of them have not.
Running shoes since 2007, they've been using an extra light foam or air pockets within the running shoes, and that's why these running shoes actually float up to the top.
Number 5. Radio bursts.
Can you picture being out there in the beach just chilling, all of a sudden, a feet? I'm gone.
From deep space. Beginning in 2007, fast radio bursts, or FRBs, coming from deep space have reached Earth's telescopes. It was eventually determined that the FRBs are likely coming from a dwarf galaxy 3 billion light years away. But as for what's causing them in the first place, nobody is entirely sure. Some explanations for the true FRB source include an active black hole throwing out light-speed particles, or a collision of 2 enormous neutron stars. However, some have wondered whether the bursts are alien communications. Of course, even if this were true, the signals would have been sent at least 3 billion years ago, so the senders may not exist anymore.
The leading theory is they're big, powerful magnetic stars.
Number 4. The West Mesa tragedies.
Interesting.
In 2009, a dog walker stumbled across a human bone on the West Mesa of Albuquerque, New Mexico. In the weeks that followed, police uncovered the bodies of 11 women, nearly all of them known sex workers, killed between 2001 and 2005 and buried in shallow graves. The bodies were so decomposed that a cause of death has never been determined.
I know who killed her and I know who did it, and I know why.
The killer has since been dubbed the West Mesa Bone Collector. And though at the time it was one of the most notorious crimes in the state's history, police had very few leads. As a result, nobody has ever been charged with the murders, and the investigation continues.
As Gonzalez prays for the other families, she also has a message for her sister.
I'm sorry. I love you.
Number 3. The Jameson family.
You know what's crazy is that a lot of times you tend to find things that you don't expect, whether it's a dog, whether it's construction, whether it's any of those things. Here in Jacksonville, I believe it was early this year or late last year, they were working on a bridge downtown. And I remember reading this article. They had found 2 bodies in that one section, and then not even a mile away, they were working on that same bridge a little bit further down, and they found another body, another corpse in the site, and they were decomposed as well. The thing is that like New Mexico, like Jacksonville, like a lot of places that have really untouched land, it's not surprising that you find certain things like that, because, you know, it's easier to hide somebody in a place that's almost in the middle of nowhere, or where somebody would expect that nothing would be built there. Excuse me, that's just the truth.
Bobby, Sherilyn, and their young daughter Madison were a seemingly ordinary family living in Oklahoma, but in late 2008, they disappeared. Their car was found in a remote wood, abandoned and full of their most important possessions, including their wallets, phones, cash, and dog. A search of the surrounding area found nothing. Then, 4 years on, the bodies of all three Jamisons were discovered just 3 miles from where the truck had been dumped. A cause of death was never determined. While some think the family was murdered by Bobby's father or drug dealers, others believe there was a more supernatural cause, as the Jamisons believed their house was haunted before they left. Number 2. Japanese ghost boats. The arrival of North Korean ghost ships in Japan is actually a common occurrence.
ちょっとね、首はね、岩に挟まってて。
However, in 2019, one of these boats housed an especially gruesome discovery: 5 corpses and 2 heads that may or may not have belonged to any of the bodies. It's generally thought that these boats come from North Korea and belong to either fishermen or defectors, although the former is considered much more likely.
乗っていた方々は想像を絶する恐怖で一人一人亡くなったんじゃないかなと思っています。
In 2017, a ship with its crew still alive was also found on the coast of Japan, and they explained that their ship had broken down before returning to the DPRK. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Malaysia Airlines Flight 370.
A Malaysia Airlines flight with 239 people on board, including 4 Americans, has gone missing.
On the fateful day of March 8, 2014, Flight 370 flying from Kuala Lumpur disappeared over the Indian Ocean. What ensued was the most exhaustive search effort in the history of aviation, and it was all to no avail. The plane's wreckage or approximate position have never been found, and all 239 people on board are presumed dead.
This is very rare. For an airplane to disappear is not normal. I think we have, at this hour, every reason to expect that this is not going to be a good outcome.
The only clue we have to the plane's whereabouts are pieces of debris that washed up on shore in the following years. Theories on why the plane went down range from a tragic fire to a hijacking, with some even suggesting the plane was pulled into a black hole.
Malaysian 370, contact Ho Chi Minh 120.9. Good night. Good night, Malaysian 370.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from Watch Mojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.
So that is all. Before I go into any thoughts and stuff like that, definitely go check out Watch Mojo. They actually put up a lot of good content, and to be honest, they're one of the channels I am subscribed to as well, and I love watching their videos. This Malaysia 370, that aircraft was very, very creepy. A lot of it, you know, it's crazy because most people would dare to say paranormal is scary, it's creepy and stuff like that, but things like this is very, very scary, very, very creepy, and the reason being is because we see it with our own eyes. We're watching these things with our own eyes, and you know, the Malaysia Airlines 370, the airplane just disappearing and all of a sudden being found and gone. You know, you have all these cases as well that don't have a complete answer, or an answer that's just put there because there's so many questions, and police and stuff like that just want to throw something there. Like the Elisa Lam. Oh, Elisa Lam. Oh, you know, it was suicide, but how was it suicide? There's really no proof that it was suicide. And it's just one of those things where these things are even scarier than the things that we don't understand. And it's because we don't understand how they happened. These are things that we see, that we witness, and there's legit proof that it's happened, but we have no answer. Yeah, But with that being said, if you guys enjoyed the video, I ask that you give it a thumbs up. I would definitely appreciate that. Comment down below your thoughts on this video and what you think about certain cases here today. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe. If you have thoughts, just saying. If you want to see me do unsolved cases that are very intriguing, like The Boy in the Box, Elisa Lam, and things like that, let me know down in the comments below. Just tell me what you think. If you want to see me do something like that, go ahead and let me know, and I'll see if I can work something out to actually get you that video. But with that being said, thanks for watching. Till next time, peace.